Hey guys, welcome back to week 2 of our performance course. Last week we had a bit of a look at different concepts of performance, different play ideas, different improvisations. This week we're going to really focus on our body and how we can use that to create different emotions, different feelings, different thoughts within our audience and within ourselves. But first, we're going to do a little bit of a warm-up. So we're going to start nice big arm circles backwards. Then we're going to take it forward. We're going to do some opposites. Swap it over. Good. Bit of side-to-side action. And then we're going to stretch. And over to the other side. Good. I'm going to look up and down. Good. Change it to side. We're going to go into semicircles. Really getting some nice movement into your neck. And we'll stretch. Good. Looking up. And looking down, gently placing your hands on your head. Good. The next one, we're going to stretch over to the side, making sure that you're staying in a straight line and that we're not going forwards or backwards. And then we're going to go up and over to the other side. Last one that we're going to do, we're going to reach down towards our toes. Goodbye. Alright, the first thing that we're going to focus on this week is emotions and embodying emotions throughout your act. Now, there are very different ways to do this. Some people like to think of a memory that reminds them of that emotion. Some people like to break down what the emotion is. We're going to do both. So the first thing that we're going to do is sadness. So we're going to take a moment and we're going to think of a sad memory. Once you've got that memory in your head, we're going to break down the movement. So sadness usually comes with a bit of a slumped shoulder. That's the first part. Our head will tip down just a little bit, and we might start to just bring our movements smaller. We might feel like covering ourselves or being really closed off, and this is usually what we want to do when we're trying to portray sadness. So we're going to roll those shoulders, and we're going to look down and figure out what we're going to do with our hands. So I'm going to take them across my tummy. Now, I want you to really focus on the memory that you might associate with this. Don't make it too big of a memory. You want it to be something that you can pull on whenever you need it. So we're going to bring that memory into our head and just feel what we do. Great. All right, we're going to give it a go. I'm going to let you play with a couple of different poses. Really be creative, think outside the box on how you might explore sadness. All right, now we're going to do the polar opposite. So we're going to do happy. Now you'll find that with happy, your shoulders will come back a bit, you're gonna look up a little bit higher than you might have. And you'll find that everything just feels a little bit more comfortable. Yeah? All right, roll your shoulders back, head up, and now think of the memory and the emotion that you're putting with it. So making sure that your features are all going up. Yeah? You got this. Good. Now I'm going to give you a few moments again just to experiment with different happy positions that you find really make it easy for you to get into that happy shape. Good. Now I want you to do similar with anger, with fear, with any emotion that you can start to think of. I want you to imagine how you might bring that thought to your mind and how your body is going to react and move in that motion. Good. Now we're going to take those emotions that we've just been working with and playing around with, and we're going to try and move with them. So instead of staying still in that static position, we're going to think about how we might move when we're sad, or how we might move when we're happy. So for instance, like before we're sad, we're going to take it into our shoulders, bring our head down, we might bring our arms across our chest, and you might find that you drag your feet a little bit, or that you kind of don't really want to go anywhere, because we're just kind of static. But then you'll find that with happy, you might be really excited and your hands are moving like crazy and you just get really, really excited to be here. And that's how we're gonna move. Yeah? All right, let's give it a try. We're gonna start with sad. So let's bring that into our body now. I'm gonna give you a few moments to try this. Great. Now we're going to move it into happy. So moving around that area as though everything in the world is great because you're so happy. Bring it up, bring it light, bring it fluffy, bring it however you feel happy is. And you're going to bring that fully into your body and we're going to move around the space. Perfect. Now I'm going to give you a few more moments and I want you to try this again with anger, try it with fear and any other emotions that you've just practiced. So, working with emotions is one part of it. The other part of using our body is deciding how we want to move. And that can be in any different way, shape or form. We can either be graceful, all movements kind of flow into the other. Or we might want to be a bit robotic and a bit stiff, and you'll notice that movements might happen really, 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 really stiffly, and it's almost kind of like you can't move. You want to take that into your full body, from your toes to your nose to your hands. So it's not going to work if we're going pretty graceful hands, but our pretty hands aren't really working with the rest of our body. Now you also may want to come across as strong. So for strong, you're going to be nice and you're going to plant your feet. You're going to be bold, you're going to be brave, you're going to be up strong. Your movements aren't going to be slow and graceful. They're going to be quite strong, but they're going to move as you would for a really strong character. So we're going to take a moment, we're going to try to find our graceful first. Now, the hardest part about graceful is often what you're going to do with your hands. So it's really easy to make your movements nice, but our hands are doing this. We want to get rid of that. So we're going to focus now, we're going to do a bit of ballet hands. So we're going to drop our middle finger and we're just going to let our wrist go. So as we're moving, our whole body is going to move with it. Yeah? All right, let's give it a go. Take a deep breath and imagine graceful. Think about what you're going to do with your hands and let everything flow. Almost like you're water in a river going around a rock. Let's try it. Great work, guys. All right, we're going to try the opposite now. We're going to try and be stiff. So think back to any great robot movie. We're going to embody that. So you're going to make your legs are gonna squeeze a little bit tighter, your whole body is just gonna tense up a little bit. And you're gonna notice that you're kind of not really moving even though you're moving, yeah? Now, I want you to forget about this nice graceful flow for a moment, and I want you to lock your hands and your wrists strong. And that's how you're gonna move. You're gonna make sure that everything that bends with a purpose. Let's give that one a go. So the next thing to think about when we're thinking about our body is how quickly we're gonna move or how slowly we're gonna move. So the first thing that we're gonna do is we're gonna learn how to move slowly. Now to walk slowly, there's actually a little bit of a tip. When you're moving slowly, you wanna make sure your knees are bent and you're bringing your center of gravity down just a little bit so that each movement can be painfully slow. Yeah? All right, guys, so the next thing that we're gonna work on is moving to different speeds, different tempos, and we're gonna look at how that can affect our movement on stage. So we're gonna start with slow. Now for slow, you wanna make sure your feet are slightly apart and your knees are bent so that your center of gravity is lower. This is gonna make it easier to do those really small movements that constitute slow. Yeah, all right, we're gonna take a moment, bring your center of gravity down, bend your knees, and I want you to walk around your space, and I want you to go as slowly as you can. And I want you to give this speed the number 1, which will be important in a minute. Good. Now what I would like you to do is take a look around, make sure there's nothing around you, because we're gonna run as fast as we can. You're gonna move as quickly as you can around the space, and I want you to run at full speed. This is gonna be number 10. Good. So now we're gonna bring our speeds together, so our 2 extremes, our 1 and our 10, and we're gonna merge them to find our moderate speed of 5. Now you'll find that this speed is the speed that we quite naturally wanna work at. It's where we feel comfortable because it's usually like our daily life. So we're gonna name that speed 5, and I want you to move around like that speed now. Good work. All right, we're gonna go from 1 to 10 now, experiencing getting faster and faster and faster. Now you wanna make sure that you're building incrementally so that when we get to 10, we haven't been running full speed since 5. Or the other way around, that when we get to 10 and you're like, oh no, I'm supposed to be running full pelt, here and you're still moving at, say, like a 3. So we're gonna start off with 1. So take it nice and slow, gently move about your space. Good, and we're gonna bring it up to, say, a speed of 2. Good, and then a speed of 3. Building into a speed of 4. And then we're gonna go to 5. Now we should be at our moderate pace right now. And then we're gonna take it a little bit faster. We're gonna go up to a 6. And then up to 7. We should be about jogging by now. We're gonna go to 8, 9, and 10, running full speed. Good. Now what we're gonna do is I'm gonna say a random number, and I want you to think about that number and go straight into that speed that you have associated with that number. Because an important thing is being able to change your speed on stage. So you might be running full pelt and your music's gonna change suddenly and you're gonna need to go almost a 2, maybe a 1. You never know what's gonna happen on stage and what's gonna be best. So we're gonna go through all of those numbers quite randomly. So we're gonna start at a 5, walking around at that moderate pace, that comfortable moderate. Good, now we're gonna take it into a 2, so quite slow. Bring it up to an 8. Good, all right, keep it there. And we're gonna go to a 1. gonna slam almost to a stop. Good, all right. Bring it back up to a 4. And now we're gonna go 10, so that full speed. Run as fast as you can, as hard as you can, and bring it back to a 1. Good. All right, one more. We're gonna go from 6, build it up to an 8. And now we're gonna go a speed of 0, so you're gonna slam to a stop. Good. Now, it's important to note that that speed of 0 can be just as important as every other speed. There is almost nothing as effective as some really fast-paced movement, like I'm talking 6, 7s and up, going straight to a dead still. It can be really, really effective. So that's what we're gonna play with now. We're gonna play with going at certain speeds and stopping, and how easy it is and hard it is to get to that complete still. So we're gonna practice that complete still now. Find a comfy position and then throw that comfortable position out the window, because you need to stop in any way, shape or form. So try and balance on one leg and stand still. Try and crouch down. Any position that you can try, and I want you to hold it with as little movement as physically possible. Let's give it a go. All right, now we're gonna do it a little bit differently. So I'm gonna continue saying numbers for different speeds, but this time I want you to picture yourself doing an activity from everyday life. We're gonna start in, say, the kitchen making dinner. And what we're gonna do is every time I say a different number, you're gonna do the actions of making dinner slightly quicker or slightly slower or completely different, depending on the number that I say. All right, so let's go. We're gonna start by making dinner. You might be chopping carrots, you might be stirring something on the stove. I'm gonna let you choose, and I want you to choose what action you're gonna be doing now. Good. With whatever action you have chosen, we're gonna start at a speed of 4, so we're going slightly slower than we usually would. Good. And now I want you to take it up to a speed of 6. So you're doing everything with that little bit of a rush. Good. Let's bring it down all the way to a 2. And we're gonna do things really quite slowly whilst we're doing our action. Good. Bring it up to a 9. Feel that kind of chaotic craziness of that speed. Let it envelop all of your movements. You've got this. We're gonna bring it to about a 3 this time. Good. Now we're gonna change the action. So, whatever you were doing before, I want you to progress to the next step of making dinner. And we're gonna go at a speed of 1. Good. Bring it up to a 3, then to a 5, to a 7, to 9, and we're gonna finish at full speed. Okay. Now it's really important that you take into a couple of different factors when you're going and creating your routine or your act or your show. Where speed is very important is, say, in conjunction to music. You kind of want to match your music to your speed, but you also want to make sure that you're not constantly moving at just one pace. You want to make sure that you're going through every speed to make your show interesting. Good work, guys. That's the end of week 2. For next week, we're going to be really focusing on using our face. So what you're going to need is a mirror, preferably freestanding, and a pen, which I'll explain more next time. All right, good work, guys. Goodbye for now.